Hey, what's up YouTube? I want to bring you a video of the 40 breeder to show you guys quite a few of the changes that have been made to the system since the last time you guys saw it. Had to remove some fish, got some new fish, lots of changes. I'll tell you what happened. First I'll show you guys the new fish because they're out and about because it's feeding time. I got a really pretty black cat basslet right here. Beautiful, beautiful fish. He's a deep purple color. And the black head, the name black cap obviously comes from that. But he's more of a timid fish, kind of a deep water fish in the wild. So what you see right there, he spends a lot of his time in caves and under the rocks. So I wanted to do a video during feeding time so you guys could see what he looks like, because the moment the food disappears, he's probably going to go back and hide again. But he is really a cool fish. You can see how pretty he is. Not aggressive with any other fish. He's been in the tank for quite a while. I haven't shown you guys his tank in a long time, so he's actually probably been in there over a month. Doing really well, eating. He's really fat. So that's one of the new fish, and then the other new fish is up here. This is another fish I've been waiting on for a long time. This is a mystery wrasse, which is one of the other fish that was on my bucket list. My LFS finally got one ordered for me. Got a nice looking specimen. You can see he's got a bright yellow face with pink stripes on it, and then he's got that, pinkish to purple body with the tail spot at the end. Depending on the light and his mood, he actually also has 5 kind of faint white stripes that go vertically across his body. So some people call these, white barred wrasses or 5-line wrasses. But he is also a very cool fish. Lots of personality, which I knew in the past. One of my other friends had one of these guys, but they're very curious fish. They're constantly scanning the rock, and the coral. As you can see, he also eyes my shrimp from time to time. He hasn't made a run at them yet, but they are notorious shrimp eaters. So I'm sure when he gets a little bit bigger, he might try to take some bites out of them. But very, very cool fish. Was really happy to get a nice, healthy specimen. So they get along really well. The only fish that he didn't, some mystery wrasses are a little bit aggressive. The only fish he didn't get along with was my Helfrich firefish. So I actually moved the firefish into the 15-gallon SPS tank with the carpenter wrasse. So other than that, he gets along well with the other fish. Right here is a fish you guys have seen before, I believe. This is my pink spot goby. I really like him. He's kind of a little bit bigger than my yellow watchman goby. So Houdini's on the SPS tank as well. And then the tail spot Blenny is right there as well. He spends a lot of his time in the rocks too. And you can see wedge himself right back in any crack, it's small enough to fit. But yeah, what you'll not see is some of my larger wrasses that used to be in the tank. As you can see, the tank is back to being bare bottom. I took all the sand out of the tank, and I'll tell you why. I didn't have a full-on tank crash. It was more of a mini tank crash. I didn't lose anything, but the water quality was really starting to deteriorate, and the tank was starting to go downhill. And my best guess was, because my wrasses, my radiant wrasse, my Melanaris, and I actually had a red Cory as well. Since all of them were sand-dwelling wrasses, because they were so frequently burying themselves in and out of the sand, I think what was happening is they were just stirring up a bunch of gunk and nastiness in the sand bed, and they were putting it into the water. So it's one of those things where it was a tough decision, but I just, I had to take that sand out. It really was messing up my system. Another thing that probably contributed to it is I kind of bought a cheap sand. It was kind of a bargain price, and it wasn't that uniform in size, so I think that also contributed to a lot of detritus getting to work its way down into the sand bed. So we're back to bare bottom, which unfortunately necessitated me removing those wrasses from the system because they need sand. They have to have sand. So I rehomed them to my LFS. Actually, he's got a big 300-gallon display tank, and he's I told him one of my issues, and he said, yeah, bring him to me and I'll put him in the display tank. So as sad as I was to see them go, I know a lot of you guys like them as well. It's for the best. They're now in a big tank with lots of room, and that's probably another thing. Those wrasses were probably a little too big to be in a 40 breeder. They're not normally aggressive species, but because of the fact that they were in a smaller tank, they just couldn't seem to get out of each other's way. They kept bumping into each other no matter where they swam, and it was causing some aggression between the bigger wrasses. So I think overall I'm going to stick with this 4-fish combo. They all get along really well. It seems like I've got a good mix as far as personalities and chemistry between the fish. An important thing is they kind of occupy different areas of the tank. For example, the basslet right there spends most of his time in the caves and underneath the rock. The mystery wrasse is more of an open water swimmer, although he does cover most of the tank. The goby right here definitely stays at the bottom of the tank. And then the tail spot right there stays in the rock as well. So they don't really bump into each other very much since they occupy different areas of the tank, and that definitely helps with aggression because it doesn't feel like the fish are competing with one another for space or territory. But yeah, so now that the sand is out of the system, I did a big 75% water change. I took out some rock. You can see this white rock right here is actually new rock because some of the rock was really infested with algae. That's another thing. I got a humongous algae outbreak when the tank was starting to go downhill, a big time algae outbreak. So took out some ugly pieces and put in some new rock. And since I've done that, the tank actually has rebounded really nicely. My coral's back open, all the polyps of my zoanthids are out. And it looks like for the most part, I think I avoided a major catastrophe. So moving forward, I'm just going to stick with these 4 fish, which is a very minor, minor to moderate bioload on the system. With the sump down there, it's more than capable of handling these 4 fish. And let's see, the mystery wrasse might get a little bit bigger, but for the most part, all 4 of these fish should stay relatively the same size. They shouldn't get too much bigger. So as of now, that's my plans for the fish. As far as coral goes, I will say I'm thinking about upgrading my lights. Right now, it's just a 2-bolt 2.5 setup, which is fine for zoanthids. But I'm thinking about upgrading my lights maybe, so I can start to stock this with some more SPS. My 15-gallon SPS tank's doing really well, so I'm kind of considering turning this into more of a full-blown reef system with nice SPS. But that's about all I got for you guys. Just wanted to show you guys the changes to the tank. If you guys have any comments, put them below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I know I haven't been posting stuff as often as I usually do, but work's been kind of crazy lately. But still here, still doing the fish business, and yeah, thanks for watching, y'all. Later.